All right, so last time we left off, we really finished the combat between Ruslan and the crew, with ending with Sean getting a major wound, but he got better, but ultimately getting to avenge his father's death. There was an attempt to get a meeting with Ignacio, but due to how the conversation started, it kind of ruined that potential meeting. There was some discovery about the old lore of the culling, part of which was a discovery that Carl's dad is a werewolf, not a vampire wolf, just a werewolf, and his mother was not the same mother as his brother, his brother is also a pure blood from what he knows, to which Carl is only a half blood. Oh, and discovering that Silver is a little bit, well, he has an allergic reaction to silver.
It's slightly massively inconvenient.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to be a very good jeweler anymore.
I guess not.
I'm trying to think what else there was an occasion that happened last time. I think that was mainly it, because then you went to go talk to your father, and then father was like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with you. I don't know what's going to do. But I know you decided...
Pat on the shoulder and told him, good luck, son.
Yeah, pretty much.
We also learned that when Effie said she wanted to exact some kind of revenge, she meant that she wanted to exact some kind of revenge.
Yes. We'll get back to that soon here. The main thing first, we have to get back to you flying by yourself to Germany to go see your brother on March 6th of 1936.
And my pretense for leaving is that there's an overhaul that needs to happen in one of the engines. I can't do it in the local shop, but I'll be back.
Fair enough.
Who else in the team is going to be mechanically inclined enough to know that?
I think the only one that has reference of knowing anything about aviation vehicles would be Sean. I don't know if Sean cares.
About the only thing Montre would think was, I made sure Julius did not tinker with it last time he was around. It should be fine.
I don't know if we've established that Carl could actually lie, or if he's too much of a goody two-shoes for that.
I mean, he can lie. He doesn't like lying, but he can lie.
Okay.
And he's not he's not being weird about it. Walk around and be like, all right, just letting people know. I'm gonna go get this engine overhauled. Okay. He's gonna like leave a notice on our board or something that's just like overhauling engine, be back in however many days.
Fair. In the midst of your flight between the base and then to Germany, where you're going to meet up with your brother, you suddenly get a tap on your shoulder in the middle of the plane. When you look behind you out of just sudden fears, like I was here alone, you see Athos right there and go like, hi pal, what you doing?
Athos, why are you on my plane?
Because it seemed like you're a bit lonely. It was a bit odd that you're going by yourself when you've been with your pals this whole time. And we haven't talked in a while. You don't talk to me much.
I've been busy having my mind blown over and over.
Like, you went several trips to Italy without me, so I couldn't cause any ruckus. I don't know if that was deliberate or...
I didn't know that you wanted to go back. I'm sorry.
Well, of course.
I would have taken you with me.
Listen, any chance I could get to cause some mayhem back in Italy to the fascist government, I'll take gladly.
You know what? Consider me well informed now. Next trip, you're absolutely coming.
Fantastic. Hey, where are we going?
You know I like you, Athos, right? We're friends.
Yeah.
I need you to lie for me.
No one would believe me if I told the truth.
You know, you make a valid point, but it isn't just about you. It's about me, so they might think a little harder about it.
Okay.
We're going to Germany, and I need you to not get off the plane.
That's a tall order, but I'm listening.
You know what? We can stop by Italy on the way back as a thank you for staying on the plane and not going to Germany. How's that sound?
But why Germany?
There's somebody I need to talk to, and...
Is it a mistress?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't gotten that far yet. Things are going well so far. I don't feel the need. No, family.
Interesting. Is there like going to be a signal in case you need backup, in case this family trip goes bad? Because I'll be honest with you, not a lot of family aren't talking to me anymore for some reason.
Well, I like to take up that the family is everything I remember it being, but I suppose there's the possibility that I'm just incredibly gullible.
When you say that, there's no sign of like disagreement there. Just
yeah,
just not.
See, this is what I like about you. You don't try to sugarcoat things.
I have no reason to sugarcoat things.
It's refreshing. Don't ever start.
I don't plan to.
Like, if something bad goes in this conversation, then unless you can fly a plane, I think you're just looking to see how many fascists you can take with you.
It's never a bad time that I could start learning how to fly a plane. He jumps into the co-pilot seat.
You know what? Because I like you. And I start talking through just like getting it into the air at the very least, so he can crash somewhere other than where it's going to be parked.
Okay. Get him
in the air, then he can go down somewhere else.
Give me a piloting check It would act as your future assist later.
Oh,
Okay. Do you want to Benny that, or you want to leave it?
I'll Benny this, because I do actually like this guy.
Okay.
As much as he is.
Well, this is also your
terrorist.
possible getaway too, so.
That's true.
That'd be really fun if you saved his life by him piloting in your plane into the ground. I taught him how to fly. I taught him poorly.
That'd be so heartbreaking.
So you got really close to crit failing there. That would have been really bad in the future. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I know. But hey, you know what? Benny was worth it. I got a raise. I don't think anything bad will happen, but I think that's the basics. That'll get you going.
Excellent. Excellent. Do I need to know how to land?
Well, as long as you use the heading here, and there's like the compass on the dashboard, as long as you go to this heading and keep going, you'll eventually be able to just coast it into water. And the radio works. So once you get so far that you got to put it down, just put it down in some water and we'll radio the others.
Water. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a lot more water in Germany than I know of? I mean, obviously in Italy, that's a peninsula, which is surrounded by water technically. It's one direction or the other. 3 out of the 4 directions.
You know, a good river will do. But I think as long as you do what I said to do, you should have enough fuel to make it to the coast.
So am I doing like this cool swoop in, you jump in the plane, then we get out, or?
If a giant pile of guys with guns try to force their way onto the plane, just leave. Italy needs you.
Okay. I'm going to need you to when you get into the plane, go in a specific way when you get back, if you have to.
Okay, you want to describe to me the...
I don't think you want to know. Oh, to get into the plane? Yes, you would jump in through one of the slits.
Okay.
But you don't want to know what I'm planning.
Okay.
Okay.
Good call. Which slits will be available to me?
We'll say pilot side.
Okay. I just like reach out and like put a hand on his shoulder. You know, I didn't ask, but thank you for coming.
You're welcome. I just seemed odd that you're going by yourself, so I decided to jump in. Plus, I saw Sean was around, so last time I heard he was going to kill me if he saw me, so I didn't want to chance that either. Actually,
considering some of the things I've seen him do lately, I give that a better than 50-50 chance of being an honest threat.
I didn't want to hear that.
I mean, I don't want to hear that either, but, you know, we don't sugarcoat things, huh?
Ah, you got that. You got me there. Okay. Say, the rest of your flight's uneventful.
I just chat about what he's been doing to keep busy since apparently we've been ignoring him.
Yeah. You get noticed.
If we pretend he didn't exist, we thought he might go away.
Get knowledge of, essentially he's just been tinkering with possible explosive or saboteur-esque equipment and has been stashing it at the home base, essentially. Like he's been just essentially chilling in the basement, just tinkering away. No one's thought to bother him because no one really want to deal with him for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, apparently explosives is covered under repairs, so Carl has a conversation about his chemical concoctions of deadliness.
You probably learned about a few things that you didn't think were explosive to begin with, but then find out that is actually very in certain circumstances. There's an example of it, like there's a few examples I can't think of at the moment.
Yeah, we have an illuminating conversation about his basement activities.
Yeah, it's a wonder the place hasn't blown up by now, essentially. Yeah, so the rest of the flight's relatively uneventful. Conversation here and there, some over-caffeinated caffeine, where eventually you make it to essentially the designated area that your brother gave you, where it seems to be a makeshift airstrip, essentially. That is a bit smaller than expected. Like, it's pretty close by the time you can stop and not hit something. Again, it's makeshift, so it's not necessarily designed for a big plane like yours.
Yeah.
Once you touch down and land, pretty much Athos just goes hide in a nook somewhere.
Good man.
Yeah. Essentially just to wait on standby until you leave, at least.
Yep. I go out the door and I close it behind me, knowing that it won't be safe to use that door to get back on my plane.
Yep. You're greeted by your brother, who, from last time you saw, seems to have a different rank on his lapel, essentially. This time that of a captain rather than a lieutenant.
Well, I'll reach out to give him an affectionate handshake.
Yep, he'll give you the not a predator handshake, but like grab the forearm, essentially, enthusiastically.
Congratulations on the promotion.
Thanks, you brother. It's good to see you again. And I heard word that you found a nice lady.
I have.
Yes.
Once you finish with whatever it is you're doing, I'll have to arrange a visit so you can meet her.
Absolutely. Now, what do I owe as the pleasure of my brother coming to visit again?
perhaps there's somewhere private we could talk.
Of course. I have a tent set up over here.
Okay. I follow him.
Yep. He'll show you over, and then once you get to the tent, he will essentially pull out some chairs to his makeshift office sort of deal. Take out a bottle of wine and pour you and himself a glass. But essentially, it's a whiskey glass, but wine's going in it at the moment. So I'm sure what you're going to talk about is very pertinent. Otherwise, you wouldn't just come all the way here just to see little me.
I had an interesting conversation with Father, and I'm a little overwhelmed and confused.
All right. I suppose I should ask what kind of conversation you had with Father.
I found out about Father's deal to go to the States and why.
I see.
And what that means for us.
I see. So you also know that your mother and my mother are not the same.
Sure. I mean, that doesn't change how I see you. If that's
of course
what you're asking.
I'm wondering what other bits you know, essentially. Do you know the whole truth, or do you know part of the truth? That's what I'm not getting. So
I don't know if I would know how to answer that. I know about your mother. I know about my mother. Okay. I know Father took a deal to survive what he must have thought was an otherwise untenable situation. I know that he didn't plan to tell me anything and hoped that nothing would ever happen with me. He seems to think that he's not even really entirely sure what you know, or if you know, which seems unlikely given our Christmas conversation. And when I asked him about what to expect or what might happen, he didn't tell me almost anything. It's just, I don't know.
So I don't think I know the same exactly as you know. The only thing I do have is an old letter from my mother that she had set ahead of time to be delivered to me when essentially the time came. That she gave me a rough, I would say probably rough in comparison to what you know, knowledge of what occurred and what I am, what Father is, and what part of you probably is.
Well, I know for sure at least part of me is, but I don't know how far it goes. I'm hoping you might know more.
That is unfortunately probably like Father. I have no idea. After discovering about, well, I'll just go out and say at this point, being a werewolf, I did start doing more research from the same fairy tales that Mother and Father both gave us. And of course, some beneficial, some not so much. I do know there was a part of me that felt like something was missing. Not in the sense of like a yearning for more in life, but sense of loneliness. A pact, essentially.
Did you find any others?
No. The calling was a lot more efficient than people could ever imagine, no matter what sort of cruel dealings or methods they used. You would think more would have slipped away, but for the most part, they were very thorough, except for the few that did survive due to one reason or another.
If what I've heard is true, it probably didn't help to be hunted by two of their own.
No. When I discovered that information, there was a sense of disgust deep down that I couldn't quite explain. I don't know if you have the same feeling when you heard about it. I felt almost as if I was betrayed deep down, even though what had happened in the past has nothing to do with me now.
I'm not even really sure what to think about it yet. Part of me hopes that there's some parts of the story that are false, but doesn't seem like there'd be any reason for it to be false.
No, unfortunately, there's about as true to fact as they could get without having some sort of physical way of recording the situation. Yes, there's no reason for it to be false, and it is true information that you can get without being there to either see it or have some physical way of like emotion picture machine to capture it. I guess it should come to the next point of I don't know what your next question would be, what you would want to ask.
I'm not even really sure how to ask. Is knowing all of this for you just change how you see yourself, or are you working towards something because of where we came from? I mean, I guess after you found out, did you decide to do something about it or just know it?
After I found out, it took some time to fully accept the situation. As for it changing me, I would say probably yes, more ways than one. And that is of a physical sense and a metaphorical, if you know what I mean.
I think I do.
Okay. As for what I'm planning on to do, or what decision I've made for the future, I do have a plan, so I don't know if it's one that you would probably agree with.
Is is your being here part of that plan?
Yes and no. Being here is really just a byproduct of working on said plan. I I doubt you have been catching up with the current events of our home country, but truthfully, none of it really matters to the immediate situation. For me, anyway.
That's what I thought.
I definitely can't say that I can agree with the methods and plans of the, well, essentially is to a veteran of the Great War that essentially was kicked out of art school. It's just ramblings of a fevered man, essentially. But he does have means for me to complete my goals, mainly resources. My plan is to essentially start a new pact, one that will reach farther than anyone in the past could thought of.
I mean, I guess I don't understand what the problem would be with, or what problem I would have with bringing back a people from the brink of extinction.
That's good. It will be a long, bloody process, but it is possible. The purity of the werewolves will never be the same, as there are some that are pure blood and others not. But we can easily get back to the way things were before, and then some more, as it's been at least 30 years before anyone has really thought about fighting a werewolf.
It seems like some of your, I don't know, some of the other people who've been working on, I don't know. So somebody else seems to have a plan to deal with us, I guess. I don't pull out the Luger, but I will pull out the magazine from the Luger with the silver rounds in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll place them on the desk.
So, I think once you do that, because a Luger magazine is very, I wouldn't say super specific, but it's pretty much, it would be hard to not notice, especially to one that probably has one himself, someone that has one himself. Yes, I see that you have run into Mr. Gons then.
I don't know if he had those because they were meant for me, or if he had them because they were meant for you.
Because it's been both. It's hard to say.
I didn't have any at the time, and I don't know how he would have known.
He did know about my condition. He did know about that, so he probably assumed, since he knew that you were my brother, that you would probably be susceptible to the same thing. Do you want to make a notice roll real quick? Do you want to leave it?
I only have one Benny.
Yeah?
I'm having a conversation with my brother. I don't feel like I'm in danger.
Okay.
I just roll the exact same thing. Cool.
You're right. You do not feel like
I say there's only one way it could get worse, but you hadn't rolled it yet. You hadn't done your once per session critical fail.
I just hope it comes up later, not here.
Yeah, that's all you can. No, it seems like he's being honest. It seems logical. How would someone working with him wouldn't be able to figure out by now that he is a werewolf? And by conjunction of working together, probably found out that you're with Sean and them, and assuming since you're his brother, so on and so forth. So checks out.
Do you feel like you know about, I don't know, all the particulars for yourself at least?
I have a decent understanding of it. Obviously, there's still things I still have to learn, as I'll be difficult to ever learn it unless Father would teach me, but I doubt that he would.
He didn't even want to tell me anything.
Well, for your case, it would be hard to tell you anything.
No, I understand that he certainly, and I know you wouldn't be able to either tell me what to expect with certainty, but he did tell me that there wasn't really a precedent for him to really know either. I wanted to have some idea of things that would be normal for the two of you, so I could look out and understand and not, be confused if some of those things happen. I mean, we don't know how strong the blood is or not. I might get nothing. I might suddenly do a thing and cause a problem for myself, but I have no way to be prepared for any of the possibilities.
And I don't know if he talked to you about this, but definitely one sign is emotions can become more erratic after. Really, just before or after you make the final shift.
I don't feel like I'm any more erratic than I was as a child.
Other thing I could suggest that you watch out for is if raw meat start looking more delectable. And I mean it starts with maybe going with a steak, getting it pretty much raw, to essentially just braising it onto a grill, to pretty much you're just wanting to take a bite out of the cow, so to speak.
And that's something you experience?
Yes.
Okay.
It is very unsettling out of context.
I have noticed that since starting to learn about this and experimenting with silver a little bit. I don't get the shakes anymore when I don't drink. So there's definitely something that's different now.
That's interesting. Would you be interested in maybe trying to make the final shift, or are you fine being the way you are now?
I think I would much prefer doing it on purpose than doing it on accident. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't even know if it's ever going to happen, but I don't want to do something that hurts the people that matter to me.
That's what I'm trying to offer you, is a way to have it done on purpose, possibly, rather than in the thick of a moment endangering your friends.
What would it take to try? I know I had to come visit you because you're imminently busy, but I also don't know if this is a quick thing or a long thing.
Well, I suppose I should also be more forthright of what's going on. Within the morrow, the western side of Germany will be remilitarized. It will then be breaking the treaty that was signed after the Great War. After the Great War. From what things have planned, there will be a lot of blood. Don't know how fast or how long it will take, but there will. This is going to be a necessity to be able to bring back the pact and to stretch out its reach to far wide.
You need the fighting?
It will be... The fighting will cause distraction for anyone else that could possibly stop the return of the werewolves.
Okay.
So you must know is that if you want to make that final leap, you'll be doing so in order to help the pack in the future.
I want to try to help make sure that we aren't extinct.
If you need more time to think on it, if you haven't made that final leap in the future, things will get more busy for me, but after a first little while, it'll die back down and I'll go back to my initial task. I'm sure you already know. And if we do run into each other while I'm on that task, that'll be the point where you have to make your decision.
I understand. I don't know how genuine it is or not, but at least the team that I have been working with right now is interested in finding a way that doesn't involve putting us at odds. And there's like the way that Carl describes it is very much like I'm mentioning it because it's come up, but I'm not entirely sold on it either.
I'm sure that most of your team would like to have resolution without conflict. For Mr. Dublin, I doubt that very much.
Me too. I didn't tell anybody that I was coming here.
That's good.
They kablam. Good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
that'd be really anticlimactic.
I wouldn't do that. There's no sense of that in this moment.
Just a whole total like, oh, thank goodness. Pow.
Oh, okay.
Well, will you show me how to try to do this on purpose? I'm not even really sure what to call it.
Shift?
If that's the word
Well,
you use, then it's good enough for me.
The most likely quick way is to, well, I guess it would be for me to transform and bite you, essentially, or to have essentially drink my blood. That might give you the rest of the genes of what you need to complete into the leap you need. The second thing would be to, well, go on long walks in the full moonlight. Essentially, try to reach into deep within yourself to channel your inner wolf, essentially.
Will I be in control of myself if it happens?
That I don't know.
Do you? Are you in control of yourself when you do it?
I am now. The first time I have no recollection.
Okay.
So I would say if you decide to go with the long walks on the beach in the full moonlight, I would suggest do it in the middle of nowhere.
I feel like it would be good to know. I mean...
That or have your trusted friends be on standby to essentially net you down and capture you like an animal.
Considering that doesn't feel good. I think I would like to try and see how much blood I have and what it'll do. At the very least, it'll be good information for you, for your children.
Okay.
And if nothing happens, then we know and we can try something else.
Okay. So you're going to try to take the blood.
I would like to take some blood, and I want to try to do the go wander off in the woods and during the full moon, see if that works, and if it doesn't, I have the option to try.
Okay. So you want him to put it in a Ziploc baggie and send it on your way. Got it.
Can I get that to go?
That's a really bad way to store blood.
Okay. Yeah, no, essentially he'll agree to it, and he'll essentially have a medic or something go draw his blood to put it in a dedicated blood bag, essentially. Put it in a cooler with some ice, and then hand it to you.
For long-term storage, it should be put in a tube.
Okay.
Unless it's a lot of blood.
Do we want to just say it's in tubes? It's in glass tubes
It
or
would
something?
it'd probably be a couple tubes. How about that?
Okay.
Okay.
Whatever makes the phlebotomist feel like it's plausible.
Pretty much. All right. I'll be right back. All right. Well, essentially, after you have your goodbyes and you're sent on your way, you pretty much everybody sees you enter in the Catalina, the designated way.
Yeah, I just like climb up the side and crawl through the pilot's window.
Yeah, and you get like essentially turned heads of confusion and fly out your way. Essentially, once you've taken off, Athos pops out of his hiding hole and starts disarming all the traps that you set.
I feel like I'll have crawled through the window and then just called out, "Can I sit in the pilot seat and fly the plane? Is that safe?"
Yes, of course.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take off while you do you.
And he had them pretty much everywhere, like lines here and there, and just to where the point was, if someone tried to enter in that way, they would have activated something.
Athos, you are a thorough man.
Yes. Best part would have only caused holes in the hole.
All right. There's a pained look in Carl's face just thinking about fucking up the plane. And he's like, "There's no. Yep. Okay. He's taking them apart now. It's okay."
He essentially just placed a whole bunch of claymores or just shrapnel mines that would make a whole bunch of pain cushions, but minimum damage to other stuff.
I did tell you that we could stop by northern Italy at least. Although Milan?
Let's do Rome. I haven't terrorized the Pope in a while.
Okay. We can't stay very long though. I'm sure you can do a lot in a short time, but how's 2 days sound?
I could do it in one.
Then let's plan
I
for
feel
one.
like it's not a question of how long he needs and more of how quickly you need to get him out of there.
Then let's plan for one. Yeah, we'll stop by Rome. I'll let him out on the airstrip and just sort of, wave as I like fuel up the plane and restock our provisions and plan for him to run back to the plane the next day for us to leave.
It's not really even the next day. It's you hear there's like after you're like almost done refueling the plane and everything, start hearing like police sirens and whatnot go off. And not long after, you see like Athos like sneaking about, running as fast as he can while trying not to get caught.
When I heard the sirens getting closer, I did my pre-flight and started the engines.
Yeah.
So you could just run in through the hatch.
It's like, I blow up a convoy. We need to go. There's like
I
there's like a detective guy that like from Carmen Sandiego, it's just like, damn you, Athos.
I'll fly back to the hideout. The
All right.
gigantic hideout.
Wait, where's the other thing? All right, Harlen. In the midst of Carl's absence of taking care of the plane, you do receive a phone call. It is from your pal Frankie back in the States.
Oh boy. Good buddy.
Harlen, how's it going, pal?
It's been eventful. How's there?
Chaotic at best. Yeah, the new guy that took over, he apparently got killed somewhere over there. I don't know if you had anything to do about that, but that's besides the point. Hey, just calling to let you know. The boss got out of prison, and he's currently blaming you and the Sean guy you've been hanging out with, since he thinks that him and that pompous redcoat guy were in cahoots and taking over his turf and sending him to jail. He can't prove it, and no sort of reasoning has changed his mind otherwise, but yeah.
So this is then a threat, a warning.
It's me warning you that if you come back to the States, try not to make yourself very apparent. You catch my drift?
I'm good at staying out of sight and all.
Yeah, I know you are, but I'm not sure about how your pals are.
Yeah, or less. He's not so much, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. It doesn't seem we're very good at making friends.
Well, I ain't got much to add to that. That seems like to be the case what's going on with you right now. But
I do appreciate the warning at least.
Hey, no problem, pal. Yeah, pretty much at that point, the conversation's done and he hangs up. William actually calls to get an audience with you in his office.
Yeah, I guess I'll go to see him. He still exists, actually. I remember now.
Yeah. Your boss, yeah. Your boss's boss, or I don't know what you want to consider it.
I forget that Sean isn't actually our boss sometimes.
Yeah. So when you enter in,
Whoa, hold on. I don't think Sean is your boss. Sean has made
No, that was my point.
himself
I said-
your boss, but he is not.
My point That's what I said. I forget sometimes that Sean isn't our boss.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I'll go back.
So primarily once you enter his office, he's kind of like almost in your face with a magnifying glass, checking out your eyes, your complexion, yada yada.
Think you're going to find something?
I'm just checking the surface symptoms. Have a seat.
No. What symptoms?
Your sanity, essentially.
Is there something we should be more worried about here, or?
I'm just checking with you. I know you've experienced quite a few supernatural things that would leave most men into living lives in a straitjacket in hospitals. I'm just double checking to see if you are still fine on that regard or not.
Probably will start nodding at this point, and we'll start slowly making his way to a seat.
Yeah.
You can accept this.
From Effie's essentially dealings with the dead and the situation with Rosalind the vampire, and I'm sure there's been other things that popped up for you that aren't typically explained by a typical man.
The resurrection of a Roman emperor was unexpected.
Yes, that one is definitely new in my book as well. But at any rate, you do seem to be doing quite a good job here after I essentially bailed you out some time ago.
You'll appreciate it. It seems we've gotten a lot more into trouble than expected, but it seems to all be working out at least.
Yes. I'm just curious, have you had any sort of temptations of going back to your old life?
Can't say. I really thought about it too much. This keeps me a lot busier than that. As much as there was a lot of trouble there, can't be compared to this. But, well, Sean takes good care of us, and there's more excitement here, so I don't think I'm moving back. And, well, college just don't think I'm heading back there anytime soon of my own free will.
I see. Well, I do know that you also had your, what's the word? Well, there's really no other word. Your coming to Jesus moment, so to speak. I didn't know if that changed your mindset at all or not.
Grimacing at that. Well, it certainly put some truth to some things. He doesn't really elaborate more than that on what he believes one way or another.
I know that experience won't really change your mind on sort of what kind of life to live. Although your experience is probably what most people dream of as far as how people get absolved of some of their sins, fire and brimstone and whatnot.
I'd been trying not to think of that.
I would just suggest for you is to, I wouldn't say don't think of that, maybe consider. I can be the last person to tell you that violence is the first answer. Sometimes it only is the only answer. Although I can't
seems to be the answer around here.
Yes, I've noticed.
But, well, maybe we can at least, he's grimacing again, at least keep it to the people who deserve it.
There you go. That's all I care about. I really don't have much else for you other than that. If you have any other needs or any other hallucinations as far as mine, schizophrenia, nausea, vertigo, etc., just
Hoping I don't have to come to you for that, but
yes.
I am curious. It seems we've evolved a little beyond, and he's struggling for the words, evolved a little beyond expeditions into archaeology. Feels like, what's the plan now?
Well, for your group, honestly, it's kind of hard to say. You have been going through this SAF team that you have had placed before you, though I don't know how easy it's going to be to get to the others. I would say that if you can perhaps get to the other tombs that you have, locations that you've discovered before they can, that would definitely be the ideal thing, because it would be hard to say what they can do with whatever knowledge or materials they can find within there. Now, granted, you've already...
Keeping it out of their hands, of course.
Yes.
But what are we doing with it? Are we just keeping it around, or...?
I'm not quite sure as of yet. Truthfully, I don't know if the world is ready for that sort of information or technology. And of course, there may not be a choice in the future. It's hard to say. Preservation is an ideal thing, as Effie would probably agree, though I don't know if it's the ideal thing. Knowledge is important, but it also can be humanity's damning fate.
Sure, if you say so. Well, a lot to think about, but a little over my head.
I understand. Some matters aren't really worth thinking too hard about. You have the people that do the thinking for that.
Yeah, well, it is starting to raise up out of his seat now.
You're pretty much free to go. He probably is just staring at you awkwardly as you, continuously as you're leaving.
Yeah. Harlen will make his way out. That seems like they both got what they wanted out of that.
Yep. Effie, Julius actually wants to have a conversation with you. Essentially, after his absence, Julius pulls you aside to in front of his conspiracy wall board of the world map. He's sitting down trying to drink a cup of tea, but failing terribly as it just slides off his mask, and he is disappointed in remembrance. When you show up, he quickly tries to brush it off, again failing to. It's Effie. Good to see you. Please, have a seat.
Take a seat.
I understand that you have a more personal connection to one of the members of this SAF, the Ignacio Cueva, correct?
Kind of.
When I say personal, I mean you know this person, not necessarily intimately in a good way, but in a way...
I know him.
Okay. And I do understand that you wish to essentially enact the same fate that he caused your father, right?
Yes.
Right. I just want you to know that the path that you probably lead on, more often than not, may not in the way you want it to. I know that ideally you want him to be alive to squalor in his failures and ridicule of the public when they discovered of how much of a, I believe what the term was given to me by Harlen is a quack. I'm not sure what a quack has to do with anything, but I will tell you that the one way that you might have to do to be able to do so is maybe more espionage work, planting your own evidence and then slowly start making public the bit of evidence that you might have already picked up from Cueva.
My original plan.
When I mean planting evidence, it doesn't have to be necessarily true. It just has to be damning.
I have to admit, this isn't going the way I originally thought this conversation was going.
Were you thinking I'll just say kill him?
No, I thought you were going to go don't seek revenge kind of stuff.
I'm a Roman. I'm the last kind of person that you should be suggesting don't seek revenge. There's been one Roman emperor in the entire time period of its existence that died of natural causes, and I still think that's essentially a fluke. I'm just telling you that there's going to be a fine line that you'll cross in your revenge that you will have to, in order to complete it, either by essentially ending this man's life, or what you lose in the process of attaining the one goal that you have may be greater than what you had initially wanted. What'd you say?
I said I see. I will consider that.
You may also have to destroy the history that you do wish to preserve as well.
No, I'm not doing that.
I see.
Why would you suggest that?
Well, if he is meant to find something that he can't find and continues that way, then people will see that he was either be losing his edge or possibly foreseeing that he's been faking what he's been finding.
I can give him something fake to find, but I'm not destroying history. That's dumb. We're not doing that.
If he could make an expression of, I'm not sure what kind of expression, how to explain this expression of essentially he's looking at you like that you're almost of a stubborn child of sorts.
You can give me that look all you want. It doesn't read very well on your face currently.
The fact that you can still read the face is all that really matters.
I think it's giving the impact you desire.
No, I imagine not. I miss having a face, I'll be honest with you.
I'm sorry, that was not very nice of me to say.
No, it was
I was a little bit upset with you.
No, I understand. It does hurt sometimes knowing that I do not have a face anymore.
Yes, that was a low blow. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I apologize. Uncalled.
So I'll give you my other suggestion for you is perhaps next time you go out there, maybe have Harlen tag along with you to maybe do some more aggressive sabotage work. Not
kill him.
Not killing. You would have to specify with that, because I'm pretty sure if you don't, he'll just do it and assume that's what he was supposed to do.
I'm worried he's going to do it if he doesn't mean to do it.
I'm sure he wouldn't.
I have meant every single one of my murders.
Have you asked him not to murder?
Back down the hall.
Yeah.
No. Well, maybe.
I don't think you have, probably.
I have had a conversation with somebody saying I don't want to kill him.
It was with Carl. When you asked me not to just throw him out the plane.
Oh, that's right.
So I got you that internship instead.
Yeah. Maybe make it very apparent for Harlen not to kill anybody.
I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Maybe ask
Sounds
nicely.
like a free spirit.
That yes, I do know is true.
I mean, I can try, but I don't know how much he listens to me.
I just give him a stern, disapproving look.
Everybody I've tried that on so far has just ignored.
I've got nothing else other than that. Then maybe don't bring Harlen. I'm not sure.
I can try.
You could bring Athos. From my understanding, his explosions don't really kill anybody.
No.
I don't know how true that is. Well, you can't bring Montre.
I said I would think about bringing Harlen. Why can't I bring Montre? I bet he wouldn't kill somebody if I told him.
That's true. He's very loyal, but the fact that he just points to himself.
He hides it all right.
I don't know how. I understand that he does, but I do not know how.
Maybe you should get some tips from him if you want to go out and see what the world's like. Right?
I might have to ask
Go
him.
with the people.
Because when I was in Italy, I was getting very many weird looks and a lot of questions I did not wish to answer. To which the point to the answers to the question, I got so annoyed by them, I just kept telling people the truth, and they just looked at me strange.
I understand that too. I will see if Harlen would not kill someone.
The next bit of advice I would say, or the last bit of advice as far as Ignacio goes, is to maybe figure out who his investors are, primarily. Obviously, the main guy, he points at essentially the crude drawing of a silhouette. That one is going to be more difficult to find other than the ones that typically hire Ignacio. A good answer would be, the unfortunate truth of it is that the people who control the wealth, like Sean, are the ones that tend to have the final say in matters. So if he still looks profitable to his investors, then they're still likely to use them, despite whatever ill things or things that he may have attached to them.
No, why would that guy be hard?
Him? Do you have an idea who that person is?
No, but you just made it sound so ominous.
Well, he's the one behind the others, right?
I don't know.
Okay. You make me reconsider if I've got this situation all wrong.
I'm confused about why you think I know about his investors. We weren't that close.
Aren't you an intern? I would say, as the intern, I would say start learning who investors are. And then my very last word of advice is to, I would say, keep an eye on Sean.
I don't know if I could. He's what you call a free spirit.
Yes. He has had a very recent heavy turn to faith, and
Yeah, he's had some rough goes.
yes. Amongst his father's death and that turn to faith, his mannerisms have changed.
Again, I don't know why you think he'd listen to me.
I'm just wanting you to keep an eye on him because you interact with him as most. He doesn't tend to want to take me along to these things, so I'm just here.
Do you want to come with us? I can ask if you can come next time.
Honestly, I don't care.
You sound like you care.
I don't know what you mean.
Okay. If you want to come, you can come. You can tell us. We're not going to, judge you for wanting to come.
We'll see. I just mainly want to say is that he suspected me of possibly taking a dark path when he could be on his way to one. He got his revenge, but that is going to leave an empty hole in him for quite some time. I don't have much else to tell you unless you have some questions for me, Effie.
Are you lonely?
There's a long pause to that question. As if he's not really even thought about it himself yet. Well, now that you mention it, I guess I am really the last true Roman left in existence, and even then it's only by slight technicality of not blood but of soul. In which sense does that even count?
Probably counts. I feel like it should count.
There's another long pause as he's trying to center himself on, can I feel myself? I don't know.
You know what? We're always here for you, so you're not, fully alone.
Thanks.
I'm gonna go check on Harlen.
Good. I've got to do more self-reflecting that I thought I had done, but now I guess I have more to self-reflect. I'm
sorry.
It's fine. He just gets up to go to find a dark corner, turn on some, what's a good edgy song? We're just going to say Pain by 3 Days Grace. There you go. There's a classic.
Wasn't I Walk Alone?
You mean Green Day, Boulevard of Broken Dreams?
Well, I was talking about that's one specific.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good one.
I'm going to go tell Sean to check on Julius because I think I gave him an existential.
Okay.
Then I'll go find Harlen.
Sean, are you going to go find Julius?
I want to have a longer conversation with Effie about it.
Okay.
Effie, good to see you. My ears have been burning red all day. It's like everyone's talking about me, and in almost every scene, it's actually pretty odd.
Hey, have you talked to Julius lately?
Julius Caesar? I mean, I feel like I've talked to him more than any of us have, but I haven't talked to him recently.
Exactly why I wanted to talk to you. I think he's lonely. He might be having an existential crisis, and I'm not sure how to fix it.
You're not sure how to fix an existential crisis.
I haven't had one.
No, I mean, if you knew how to fix an existential crisis, we would need to have a longer conversation.
But I was hoping, since you guys are close, some support would be helpful.
That's actually really interesting. I guess maybe I should have a conversation with him. What were you talking to him about?
Revenge?
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
How are you doing with your revenge?
I mean, I'm done, right? More or less. I feel like.
Yeah, but I mean, like, how do you feeling okay?
Yep. Yeah, I feel great.
What do you
Revenge is
feel like
great.
doing next?
Well, I think I'm waiting for everyone to come back from their. We've kind of all departed on minor tasks and
No, I mean
seeing
like
things through.
in the like the long scheme, are you wanting to like go find more artifacts, kill people, fall into darkness?
Hold on. Effie, please sit down across from the table for me.
Fall out of darkness. It's so great.
We are an artifact recovery team.
Yes.
So it makes sense that you led with find artifacts. I say very Irishly. I don't go out of my way to kill people. And I don't know what you think fall to darkness means, but yeah, I don't have a follow-up to that.
You know, we've gone through some crazy stuff lately, and I just wanted to make sure we're all like good.
Effie, let me ask you a question. You have outrightly watched Jesus Christ intercede on my behalf at least 3 times, which includes cleansing Harlen of all of his mortal sins. I'm not asking you to have faith in me. I'm asking you to have faith in him.
I do have faith in
Okay, great.
Jesus. However, I also have a book that lets me raise the dead, so I'm not sure where all magic comes from.
Well, hold on. What I do is not Let's be very clear here. What I do is not magic.
Okay.
I ask the Lord, please God help me. But I don't mean that like, oh, please God help me. It's normally like, please God help me. Like that, the second one. And he's like, hey, I'm not gonna leave you hanging because you're in a big bad situation. That's how what I do works, which isn't, let's be very clear, magic. That's just the way it goes. Things will never be the same.
So you're feeling all right, like mentally?
I think so. I think brutally murdering the man who killed my father and maybe tried to turn him into a vampire really got me right with the Lord. I'm past the vengeance thing, you know? I'm not feeling it anymore.
I guess if that for you, that's good.
Yeah.
Keep hanging in there, buddy.
Thanks. How are you doing?
Doing all right. I haven't had anything majorly life-changing happen to me lately, though.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go talk to Julius Caesar now, which is such a weird sentence to say out loud.
Yeah, just, check on him. I'm a bit concerned about... I think he wants to come with us on his next mission, but he wasn't saying he wanted to, so that was a little bit weird.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go talk to him. Hey, it's good for us to check in. And you know what? Before I go, let's have a 1-minute sit down. How do you see yourself on this team? What do you see your position here as? What are your goals going forward? What do you see this team doing?
It's a lot of questions on the spot. I feel like I'm in an interview now.
I'm calling these 60 seconds. I'm going to do them with the whole team.
Oh, well, I guess currently my goal is to keep people alive.
Okay.
Mainly Carl. I think he's going to die at some point, and I don't want him to. Not that I don't want to keep the rest of you alive. He just seems like the most likely to die.
Don't worry, Carl agrees.
Now, do you mean keep everyone everywhere alive?
Well, I don't think I can do that, but I'd like to keep my friends alive.
I mean, just because you can't do it doesn't mean it's not a goal that you have.
Theoretically, yes.
Okay.
That would be a nice goal. But at the moment, it's focused on my friend, and especially Carl, because he's probably going to get himself killed.
Okay.
What is your goal?
Oh, nice reversal of this. Nice. I mean, right now, I'm really focused on keeping this team together. I'm worried that we're spreading apart. We've hit kind of like, it really felt like the vampire thing was the highlight. It's really going to mostly be easier from here. I'm going out on a limb, but I feel very positive about Carl and his brother. I think that they can come to an accord. We can keep the werewolves dominate the entire planet thing under wraps, really help his brother see reason. So I think with a positive attitude, we're like mostly there. Our competition has been eliminated. Kind of the ghost captain dude. I'm not sure if he's still around, but he's like mostly dead probably. Vampires down. Ignacio is completely afraid of me. He is intimidated and fearful of me, which is very sad. but I think it's going to keep him from coming towards me, which really just leaves Carl's brother as the last holdout. And if there's peace between us there, we pretty much have free reign to just get in there, get these artifacts, secure them. And, it seems like there's a lot going on in the background with like robots and like a superior, super technological race that's waging war all across the planet with incredible logistical precision. I mean, multiple structures of the same construction on different continents at a time period where the known humans lacked compasses or any form of long-range sea travel. There's a whole world of literal magic out there for us to investigate that we could be concentrating on rather than fighting Nazis all the time. And I'm glad to see that that's the direction we're headed in. I feel like the murdering and killing is mostly over. The SAF has to be on its last legs.
Oh, I'm glad that the murdering's over now.
I said, I think it's mostly over. I would also be glad if it was over,
That's a good sign.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go talk to Julius now. I'm going to do a 60-second with him, too.
Have fun.
Okay, thank you. I will. I leave. I'll go talk to Julius.
At this point, you've gotten to the in the end segment of his edgy self-reflection.
Julius, has it all fallen apart? What is meant to be will eventually be a memory.
Over time, I tried so hard, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
You have to fall to lose it all, buddy.
It's an odd existence, I can say at least. The consideration of like everyone that I knew is long been dead. The Empire, the Nash Nation, whatever you want to call it, long gone. But then I recall all the ones I thought were my friends stabbed me everywhere.
Sure.
I mean, there was that time with Cleopatra. I don't know if that was really a friend. That was more so I think she was using me in self-reflection, but that's beside the point.
Sure. Some people look at Cleopatra and think that Cleopatra is coming at you. Don't worry about that one. I'm actually surprised. You were the one person I thought was going to get that reference.
Cleopatra is coming at you?
Julius, let me ask you.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself within this organization, if you even see yourself as a member of this organization?
I mean, I would declare myself as a member of the organization. I was kind of brought here with, like, main reason of I really can't go anywhere else. Current form is not allowing of a normal life, nor would I think, want a normal life at this point. It'd be too boring. To a seemingly virtually immortal body, and the stakes of really only key defining factor of my longevity is my soul.
Yes, you have one.
Though I can still feel my soul being eaten away of sorts, almost as if the best way I can describe it as every time you have a plate of pasta and you have too much olive oil over top of it, where it clogs your arteries and essentially stricken the blood flow from all throughout.
Okay.
I know it's a very broad and somewhat specific way to describe it, but it gives a sense of you're always hungry, but at the same time you're nourishing yourself.
Look, buddy, no one told you that life was going to be this way. Your job, it's a joke. Your love life's broke because, Cleopatra's dead and it has been for a long time.
Again, that was more of, I guess, not even really friends with benefits, just more of I don't know how else to describe it other than a pseudo-transactional agreement.
Sure.
John?
Yes?
What are your thoughts as far as the immediate action of the future?
I'm looking at a future filled with hope and peace. I think we're almost there. And you know what? I think that you can get there with us. There's a lot going on. There's so much to do and so much to see. If you don't want to come with us, though, there's nothing wrong with taking the back streets of Rome back to your house. Look.
It hurts so bad.
Does it? Does it hurt so good?
My heart. It aches.
Here's what's...
I guess you never know where you're going to go.
Yes, exactly. You'll never shine if you don't glow.
Hey, now.
Julius, I see peace in our future. A peaceful, adventuring exploration. There can be danger in that. A snake that bites you will leave you as dead as a bullet. But I think that the violence is done. Our enemies are either dead or too afraid to face us, mostly. I have to tell you, Montre and yourself are basically immune to any sort of werewolf violence, I highly suspect that Montre will simply, let's assume that like a werewolf charges over the open to try to kill Montre, even if it could get to him through a spray of machine gun fire, which is very unlikely. Your bodies are entirely metallic. They have no effect on you. And while you might not be made of silver, okay, look, I'm getting way too into this. Julius, if you wanted to join our team, I think we would welcome you. You have an expertise and a way of viewing the world. You're bombastic. You have panache, genteel, refined. I think you would make an excellent joining to our partnership. And in 5 years, I could see you learning enough to adjust to this future that you have found yourself in. Perhaps one day you could be leading a team of your own.
You just kind of.
Is that something you'd be interested in?
He stares at you for a bit to assess your essentially your mood, your mannerisms, your I don't know what else I want to say. I don't know what I'm going to say, but essentially see what your underlying intentions are.
Ah, I see. Well, my underlying intentions are to make sure that this guy has something to do. I feel like we have a responsibility to make sure that he does not while away. We helped wake him up, and without us, he has no connection to the present.
Yes, and you want to make sure he doesn't turn evil, yes.
I mean, he's Julius Caesar, all right? That's complicated, the nature of evil. I mean, look, I'm going to be really frank here, right? From a Christian point of view, it's not good for him. Okay?
No, okay.
It's bad. It's bad for him.
True. What I mean is
I want to make sure that he is occupied, right? I could not imagine anything worse than traveling to the future, not knowing how to do anything, and everyone ignores you, and you're basically a marionette.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that this guy has something to do. We are responsible for bringing him into the future, and I would like to see him brought to a point where he's more capable of acting independently. I would prefer he agreed with everything I think, but I'll settle for his mind is occupied.
Fair enough. Very well. I suppose I can go tag along with one of you all, or with you all whenever you next go. Obviously, we have to return for the one friend to return, but yes. Though I would suggest that probably start working on one of the remaining locations of the tombs or crypts.
Sure.
Yada yada yada.
As soon as we can, of course.
Of course. Essentially, this is Julius Caesar acting tsundere of sorts.
That's some real baka behavior, is all I'm saying.
I know. So at this point, I say we can Montre, unless you had anything you wanted to do.
No, he already got his rolls on his work.
Yeah. Do you want to try another roll?
Sure. Do one by himself.
Just be doing a repair. Just essentially doing it straight. Okay. Yeah. Now you got more of it put together. From what you can tell, the only thing that might be missing now is just a soul.
Interesting. He's got to decide if he wants to give it one or he wants to try to find a way to jump into it somehow. He's going to think about that for a while.
Well, you do have a dagger that does that.
Yes, but he doesn't remember if that's the way it was really supposed to be done. So that's what he wants to look into.
I think you would, because you've had you in your flashback that you've had of just how you were put into your shell, and et cetera, and one that where you've essentially stabbed into someone that was dying and hadn't died yet in your one flashback. Yes, that is.
Yeah, that's right. You did have me do that.
That is essentially the method: is you stab the knife into the person, the knife sucks up the soul, into which you take that knife and you plunge it into one of the suits like your own. So I mean, in a way, is in case if one of your buddies is about to die, you can save them by sucking up their soul and then putting it into a robotic body.
Very true. I think that's something he'll bring up the next time, that it's super awkward to talk about something like that, because that's how he is. Do
it right in front of Carl, to where there's a moral conundrum of,
hey, Carl, you look like you're about to die. Would you like to get in this knife? Just for a minute. You won't notice at all.
Because he doesn't really want to die, but he also doesn't know if he wants to have his soul trapped into a cold mechanical body for the rest of his life or foreseeable life.
It felt like no time at all.
Oh boy.
It's fine.
There you go. So say it about a couple days after March 7th, there is the announcement that Germany has remilitarized the western part of it, in which Carl makes it back to main base with Athos with him. No one remembered that Athos was gone.
I like the idea of Athos getting off the plane like a person that doesn't want to admit that they were in the bedroom of somebody else, just kind of running from the plane hide.
No, he's probably like, "Hey guys, I'm back. Did you miss me?"
Athos has no shame. There's no way he does the walk of shame.
No, it's very much that he comes out of the plane and is like, "Hey guys, you miss me?" And then no one missed him.
Pistol shot. Pew! Now I did? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy.
I mean, I guess that depends. Does Sean try to shoot him in sight?
I think Montre would literally go, "Who is this?" He doesn't remember him that well.
If a man could have his soul crushed visibly.
I put a hand on Athos' shoulder and I regale Montre with the story of when we met him.
Montre the whole time was like, I could have swore I was there for all this, but I don't remember any of this.
Yeah. So I guess next order or last order of business for the night would be a discussion of which location would you like to try to hit first?
You said it was a couple of days, so what day is it?
It would be, I would say, March 9th of 1936. Oh, in other news, oh boy, actually this is interesting. Pro-democratic militarist, I want to butcher the name, Kazuki Okada steps down as Prime Minister of Japan and is replaced by radical militarist Koki Hirota. I don't think that's news that anybody really would care about. Maybe Sean.
Wow. Did you see that this guy who likes democracy a lot was forced to step down? You know who else likes democracy? Is me.
This is the defining characteristic of you, yes.
Yes. Okay. So you do have the locations of North America, Antarctica, Australia, and Germany.
Oh boy, the 9th. Okay. Carl's gonna spend the night in the woods, I guess. It's a full moon.
Antarctica was the life reservation.
Right.
Australia had the materials hold, which meant like materials for, well, essentially construction, crafting, etc., etc. Germany was the second armory stash, and then the North America was the second records location, or library, as so to speak.
Team, how are we feeling here? I know we've all come back from minor life-changing journeys. We had some discussions. Carl, I'm sure you'd love to tell us about what went down with your brother, and let's all take a moment to welcome Julius Caesar as a auxiliary guest member of this team. He is, of course, OP as fuck. Fire Emblem terms, we would call him a pre-promote.
I don't think you can promote him more than Emperor.
I'm not even sure what makes me OP in your sense.
I'm deeply confused by this combination.
I just, Sean just says these things sometimes. I just try to context my way through.
Okay. Well, I mean, Sean had asked me if I wanted to go, and I said yes, so I am here.
Yeah, welcome to the team, man.
Well, if you're gonna travel with us, do you know how much your chassis weighs?
I can't say I do.
Well,
I have not found nor have I had the thought of trying to find a means of weighing myself.
No, well, we can take care of that detail after the meeting. I just need to be able to load plan for the plane.
Interesting. Well, I will tell you that I pack light, as I don't have much else I need to take with me.
Okay. No, if you just give me a list of the stuff that you would like to bring, then, I'll just make sure that everything is adjusted accordingly.
A sword, maybe something else as far as armament. That's about it.
All right, you weren't kidding. That's real easy to work with.
I guess whatever clothes I might be wearing, as I really at this point clothes seem very, well, not a non-necessity.
But it is a good way to feel like part of the team if you dress like a person. I have taken to wearing pants.
We all appreciate this greatly.
Exactly. The professor was quite confused about why I could literally fold up into a pretzel, as he called it. And he found pants made it less weird.
So when Montre starts speaking of his advice, Julius pulls out a notepad and a pen and just starts writing down interesting pants to make others feel better. Okay. Interesting.
And a long jacket that pretends to be a shirt, like I normally wear when I'm outside the house, helps hide our differences. And it gives great pockets for small things if you need pistols or other such small implements. And is oddly enough, not considered weird if you explain to them you were injured in the last war. I don't know what war that is, but Sean used it once and it's worked ever since.
Pockets last
I like how you remember
war.
that.
Interesting.
It was a good idea, and it's a very, very easy thing to remember. I was harmed in the last war. And what war you were talking about was vastly different than I thought, but it worked nonetheless.
Well, he's a soldier, so whatever means works best, he's usually likely to take. Less questions asked is a soldier's best day.
I've never been to Antarctica before.
From my understanding, what I read, it's very cold, so not very many
Why are we
people.
going to Antarctica?
There's a life reserve there, so I believe what is kept to be fauna and plantation. Well, not plantation. Vegetation. But essentially...
I gotcha.
I would assume it'd be very interesting to see what sort of animals and stuff they had planned for this planet before, well, we came to existence. I doubt Montre has any recollection what they were like.
Have to admit, I hadn't even really thought about that. I've just never been. That's the one continent I haven't been to, and I'd like to.
Well, it's frigidly cold to, I think, degrees of what was measured several negative Celsius.
Yeah, it hasn't been on my ideal travel location.
I mean, if the whalers can set up outposts down there, then I'm sure there's a means. Can't be that bad.
It may
Yes, I
actually
would
be the
love to
first time
live.
I'll actually need to bundle up as well, for not just for appearance's sake. If
Well,
it's
I was
that
going
cold.
to experiment to see if it even bothered me.
Well, I don't think we'd feel it, but our internal workings might freeze up. It is a liquid that sustains our...
Ah, yes, that is an important detail I should have considered. Yes.
Well, I can hope the two of you keep an eye on your physical well-being.
Of
You
course.
could light a fire within the plane. That should be fine.
There might be alternatives to that accomplish the same thing.
Indeed.
What, strapping us to the engine?
Why don't you let me worry about that?
Okay. I mean, the other important, I'd say, aspect would be to maybe go to North America and look into the other records to see what else we could find on the Dureth. As I think right now the armory would be a bit sketchy to investigate.
I feel like now might not be a great time to fly to Germany. At least not until this whole militarization thing calms down.
Yes, that's precisely why. It would have to be a mission to be extremely covert, which I have a strong sense that this group is not easily capable of doing.
What?
What? I feel we're great at
Hold
that.
on a second.
I
We've
mean,
executed several extremely covert missions. I'm gonna be straightforward with you here. At least one of them was ruined by me. I'm just gonna be straightforward there. We were like 90% covert right up until I revealed our position by murdering a ton of Germans.
When I said this group, I meant this group, not individuals of group. I'm sure Harlen could accomplish a covert mission just fine on his own, but with a walking machine gun.
I'm also...
I mean, to Harlan's credit, he's managed to pull off some of these tasks despite the rest of us.
Yes, that's...
I've done some. They just weren't notable during the time because not much happened when they were successful.
Yes. Although that would be the other point of going to Germany, was to ensure that they don't get access to the weapons that, well, I don't think we all fully understand quite yet.
I would assume they've already done so, since they had suits like us already partially functional.
But wasn't that from Peru?
I thought we went to Peru. Wait a minute. Did
Yes.
we leave? Yeah, we did leave some in Peru. Oh, that's right. He had the Coast Guard. Okay, never mind. He would, yeah. He'd kind of blink. He would blink if he could. Be like, oh, yeah. I thought they had that already. Now I'm confused about where I thought we were in this whole thing.
There's no knowing if they do already have it or not. It would just be a possibly good idea to either investigate to see if they have, or to figure out a way to keep them from getting more.
If they've been able to reactivate the table that showed the location of everywhere, they will already have theirs, though. I would assume it'd be safer to take out deny them the others first.
Very well.
In any case, if we wanted to go to Germany now, it would be a much longer trip. I wouldn't want to fly near Germany right now.
Okay, so I just pretty much just takes like some of the red yarn and makes like an X as to not fully want to exit off with red ink or whatever.
Hold on. Did we ever figure out what was going on with your brother? Have we discussed that?
I don't think we have.
What's going on with your brother?
I'm not sure.
Have we decided?
I mean, is he on our
him?
side? Did you convince him, or are we at war?
I mean, I've sent him correspondence, but given his position, he's probably involved in this militarization right now.
I think what he's asking is, do we shoot him on sight or not?
If for some reason we run into him, I think we should try to talk.
All right.
I mean, everything that I know about him says that I feel like the most connected he would be to what's going on in Germany now is that it's where he is. I don't think he has any particular loyalty to, the man in power.
You don't mean the man in the high castle?
He doesn't have any particular. I can't imagine him having any particular loyalty to the guy. And as confusing and difficult as it's been to get some information out of Germany on what's been going on, I've gotten a little, and the stuff that you've told me about what they've been doing, I can't see him being a part of that either. If we run into him, we should talk to him.
Okay.
I'm also remembering that you crit failed onto figuring out what's going on in Germany.
Yeah, so he's talking about the stuff that
pretty much
that
that his
Sean
brother
told him
had,
about.
or Sean has brought into effect.
Yeah.
The other side of the coin is all sunshine and rainbows, essentially. It's not that bad.
And he just heard some stuff from his brother that,
Yeah.
So.
But your brother was also vague about it, so that's the other problem.
Yeah. He knows there's something going on. He's not sure how much of what Sean said is true or not, but if any of it is true, he can't imagine his brother being a part of it.
Yeah.
At least we're keeping it historically accurate.
That's all what we're all about here.
You just see the two robots on the other side of the table. Yeah.
Indeed.
You see,
Julius Caesar will be emperor of the world,
These are
just like you
nods.
planned.
That's the long game. He's like, no, I am the emperor now.
Once and forever.
I mean, given things that I've heard about happening in the States and the militarization in Germany, and I don't know. Look, I feel like if we go to Antarctica, we can get back to this relic hunting thing, and hopefully it's way less likely that we'll run into people who want to try to kill us for looking for things.
Okay. Just to be clear, we're talking about going to Antarctica, which is not a particularly easy place to reach. I say Irishly. It's literally been 25 years since the first South Pole expedition. Successful.
So we need a boat.
Thanks to their sacrifices and hard work, we have some idea about some of the outer edges of Antarctica.
Hold on. No. They made it all the way to the This is the group that made it to the geographical South Pole. Amundsen. Let's be really clear here. Antarctica is bad. It's difficult to survive on, but that's not what you need to worry about. If you can get there and you have supplies, you could theoretically be okay. What you need to worry about is the sea zone between the 60s and the 70s and the 40s, latitude-wise. Just getting there is difficult. And I know you think, oh, we have a seaplane. That seaplane will swamp and die, and it's also way too cold to operate it down there. We're going to have to find a boat, preferably a mechanical boat, not a sailing boat, and one that is meant for long-term oceanic travel, and it's going to be bad. I need everyone in this group that is not a robot to recognize we're all going to watch each other vomit for like 3 weeks each way, constantly. Just constant vomiting.
I didn't really see any sort of issue until you mentioned the vomiting thing, which now I have to recollect if I'm going to feel like I'm going to have to. But I'll know I'm in a helmet, but I'm not. Besides.
Okay.
I mean, ultimately, it sounds like you have an idea how to get down there. Just worried about the resources.
Money. Money's how we're going to get down there. We're probably going to want to base out of somewhere nice that's also relatively allied with us, so that kind of leaves Australia and South Africa.
Well, theoretically, we could do Australia first, and then do Antarctica second.
I agree with that plan, actually. Let's talk that out. How do people feel about going to Australia first? And while we're there, we can get the arrangements for a ship to Antarctica underway.
Seems like a better option to me.
Okay, yeah.
Montre just shrugs.
Effie, you've been quiet.
That is because I have nothing to say.
All right. Harlen, I wanted to check in with you here. Let's do a 60-second. How do you feel about where this group has been so far, and where do you see this group going?
I can only say that it feels like things are going to get even more brutal if we keep clashing heads with military operations and wannabe crime lords.
Wait, which wannabe crime lords have we been clashing heads with?
I thought one of them was the wannabe crime lord. I don't know. Wasn't that vampire? I don't know.
I mean, the vampire was a crime lord. You just,
Yeah, but Harlen likes to be insulting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arguably, you could say Ignacio Cueva is a wannabe crime lord, but
Yeah, Resident Omer didn't want to be. He was.
in reality, Ignacio Cueva is suffering from getting too high up in the ranks above his actual merits or abilities, essentially. But I get what you mean. Okay. Continue on with your 60-second interview.
Yeah. Where do you see this group going from here on out, Harlen?
Personally, doesn't matter too much to me. I'm along for the ride, and seems like we're going to be doing more of what I'm in here for.
But where do you see yourself as part of this group? I think that you are an enterprising young man whose skills exceed sneaking around and shooting people real good. What kind of development?
I thought those were pretty good.
Those are good skills to have, don't get me wrong. I'm just worried about developing your portfolio of skills. We're not going to be doing this adventuring forever unless we all die while doing it, in which case we will have done it for the rest of our lives in a technical kind of way. But to be very clear, if we were to look beyond that, where do you see yourself? What kind of professional development can we be looking forward to?
Tired, probably stolen enough, maybe from you.
Wait, you're going to steal from me?
I didn't say that.
Okay. I heard some things that were deeply concerning. I'm gonna let them slide for the moment.
I want to imagine a the office style cutaway segment where Harlan turns his head towards the camera and goes, "I already did," and then turns back.
I said more from him.
Carl, let's do your 60 seconds.
I think I'm going to take Miss Adamo to dinner.
Okay. That certainly has a potential for growth in a sort of human life kind of way. But where do you see this team going, and how do you see your growth within the team?
Carl stands up and says, let me know when I get back on the plane. And he makes to leave.
Wow. Okay, Carl. I can't stop you from leaving. I mean, I'm not your boss. Montre, same questions all around the board.
Where do I see myself?
Yeah, where do you see your professional development?
Well, if there's a war coming, then maybe I could get a bigger gun. I'm a soldier, Sean. I kill things.
Okay.
Not fun or what I want to do. I don't even know what I want to do. It's just...
That's what I'm asking, though. What do you want to do? What skills do you want to have beyond soldiery? Being a soldier is not literally everything to who you are.
I'm enjoying repairing my kind.
I mean, recovering your culture is certainly a very reasonable and forthright endeavor.
I don't have a culture. I was a soldier. I killed things. The questions are...
I think what he means is...
circular.
Do you have any aspirations of not being a soldier in your future? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut in here, but...
It's fine, Julius. No, I just want to make sure that those that I give a crap about still exist. And the most expedient way is usually 303 shell to the cranium. And it's expedient. I don't have much desires past that at the moment. I've actually mostly been repairing the shell of my former enemy, so in case I get broken or one of you get broken to the point that I could replace your body with it, so that way you would be with me longer.
Wait,
you
what?
are still...
What was that last part?
I'm sorry, what?
What was that last part?
I repaired my shell, so you might be with me forever, because you're all going to leave me eventually.
Yep, that's what I thought I heard.
I mean, he does make a point.
I mean, I wouldn't do it without permission. I'm not a monster.
Oh,
He is right. We will perish and die.
No, you won't. Those are two separate things. If I have my way, you will all die of old age.
I mean, that's what perishing and dying is, but yeah, sure.
No, I must have misconstrued it. I thought you meant you would be dying in violent manners. That will not happen.
Yeah, I almost had a vampire kind of eat me.
And then
Not
I
that
made
long
sure
ago.
that he was turned into puree.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's always possible, you know. Things can happen
That's...
that we don't expect.
I thought he was turning to puree
he
when
reaches down to his leg and they kind of pats his leg. No, I won't let that happen.
Okay. Listen, I appreciate your confidence in these matters.
There was another question. I'm sorry, I got off topic.
I feel like that fully encompasses everything I have to ask, really.
He nods. I'm sorry if it's unsettling. It's hard for me to focus on things outside my purview sometimes. I wasn't a traditional soul transfer.
Were you saying you weren't, or?
I was not, no.
Oh.
Kind of like training a dog. You train dogs to obey and do basic commands, but then you train dog to sniff out explosives. Different training. Still train the dog to do the basic things, from what I've read, but you add special things. There's lots of things added, like the command protocol thing that made me use the chair without even knowing how I did it. It just works. I just know I could do it once I sat down.
Interesting.
Kind of invasive when I don't know why I'm doing it, but it is what I'm literally capable of doing.
As he essentially, Caesar's point is like, return to default settings. Okay.
Oh no, I would probably kill everyone that I now care about. I didn't like that. No, Caesar, erase that or scratch over that. No,
I'm just saying that as a possibility that you could return to default settings, which in turn could cause you to kill everybody. Actually, now that you mentioned that, so
well,
we don't want that to happen.
One thing to remember is Effie technically is a priestess, as far as my knowledge is concerned. So she could override any of that.
I thought she didn't like being called a priestess.
She does not like it. It does not mean that I don't still have that in my mind.
Okay.
I
But what
respect
you
her
do
too much
describe,
to actually tell her that she's just that. It's rude. She doesn't like to be called.
She's right here listening to you say that right now.
He nods.
I mean, in all terms of how her magic works, it is like
Similar enough for my mind.
Yeah. And if I see his reasoning of calling her a priestess, yes.
What are we doing now?
Well,
Oh.
it sounds like we're getting ready to go to Australia.
Yeah, it sounds like I need to make Australian arrangements. Other than that, I think we're fully set here.
I think we should pack a bunch of flashlight and candles for this land that's down under.
Montre just nods. He doesn't know any better.
I honestly haven't done much research at all myself, but not sure why a bunch of people want to live underground.
It's on the opposite side of the world.
It's not underground.
Interesting.
So we might go underground.
Makes sense. All right. I guess we'll leave it off for here tonight.
Carl was going to indulge in the full moon tonight.
You're going to indulge in the full moon tonight.
Yeah, he took Miss Adama to dinner, and he brings her back, and then he's gonna go off in the woods.
It's like drop her off, and then it's like, all right, I'm going to go.
He's like, yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. I'm going for a walk to clear my head.
Okay. Sorry, I've been watching a whole bunch of Penguin, and I was thinking about knights going mad and just running into the woods naked.
Yeah, it happens.
And yeah, he's gonna have a breakdown in the woods by himself under the full moon.
Like a mental breakdown?
Yes.
I mean, potentially, yeah.
He's been trying to keep his shit together around everybody else, but he's so overwhelmed.
Make a spirit roll. I don't know if your goal is to keep your shit or just let your shit go.
His father told him to be careful of strong emotions, and he wants to try to make this happen before it happens when he doesn't want it to happen. So I think he's just going to let go.
Okay.
So I don't know how that factors into the spirit roll or not, but
You're going to find out here in a second.
okay.
Okay. All right, that's good. So you take your wander off into the woods and kind of just self-reflect on everything you've learned in the past couple of days, which not really past couple of days, more of a couple weeks at this point. As essentially what most of you thought was true is now not necessarily true. Do you feel like your emotions starting to build, the stress in your mind start to essentially cause it to crack and shatter? Essentially, and soon you start to feel the rage that starts to form behind it.
Confused.
Yeah, the
perpetually confused and scared, and he's just fed up with all of it. So he gets angry about how everything is just so fucked.
Nothing super major immediately comes from it. Eventually, after a while, you start hearing a shout from your girlfriend, essentially, and things start to kind of come back to reality. But though you still feel something different come about you. Essentially, that bonus to vigor that you gave yourself as a character, you can replace that with regeneration.
Okay.
So you can once per day make a natural healing roll.
But is she really there, or did he?
She's
just,
in the distance. You're
just her voice.
I don't think you can be quite sure.
Fiore?
You don't get an immediate response back, as at this point you're quite deep in the woods. You kind of just kept on walking in a direction and kept going.
Yeah.
You can swear you heard her voice, but you also can't be entirely sure if it was just maybe from the distance that you heard at a slight moment.
Do I have like an idea of a direction that I think I might have heard her from?
Make notice.
I might want to invest in that.
It's a really important skill.
It really is.
It's like in D&D, you want perception. That's an important skill. No, you have no idea which direction.
Well, he'll just start shouting then. Are you out here? Try to wander around a little bit, try to see. Because now he's worried that she's lost in the woods.
I would say after some time you would meet back up with her, and yeah, she did get lost in the woods because you had been a while, you hadn't come back. She was like, is he okay? Because obviously you're not okay.
Yeah, you run up and hug her.
Yeah.
What are you doing out here? It's
You're gone crazy.
Gone crazy? What do you mean?
It's just been gone so long.
Oh, the time got away from me. I didn't mean to worry you. I'm sorry.
Okay, just let's just go back inside and just call it a day.
It really has been a day.
All right. With that, we'll leave off for tonight.
Roger that.
If you had crit failed that, you definitely would have transformed and you would have murdered your girl. To let you know.
That's so like I wanted him to transform, but then you were like, "Well, we'll see how this goes." I was like, "No, you're gonna make me regret doing it, aren't you?"
Oh, obviously.
Only completely.
But you didn't. You got without making your crit fail for the session.
Especially when you decided, I'm just going to go by myself to do it. I'm like, uh-oh.
Well, yeah, I went by myself because I didn't want to cause any problems for anyone else.
That's when you cause the most problems.
You know, the local constabulary is wondering why there's a bunch of dead deer piled up somewhere or something. Like, that's fine, you know? Like,
yeah, and I understand from a player standpoint too, is the not character standpoint, because also like the two people you might could ask have also been very freaking frustrating in their own rights. So it's like, why would I want them helping me?
Well, yeah. All right, are we all good for next week?
As far as I know.
Yeah,
I think so.
think I have anything.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
We might meet for a third week in a row. My goodness.
What?
Like it's not the holidays anymore.
Yeah. That's usually a main kicker. All right. So next time we'll go to Australia.
I really enjoyed. What did you say? That's what I thought you said.
He didn't want to admit it, but he doesn't refuse Effie's request. So he's just like, oh, dang it, I said it loud enough she can hear me.
Yeah, you know, that's why I made a body, so that way I can put you guys in it in case you die.
Mm-hmm. What's the problem?
So that way I can keep you alive forever.
Mm-hmm. And you couldn't leave me alone.
Listen, the real dark side is Montre's mindset, because it's not dark in his mind. It's just, this is a logical solution.
He wouldn't do it if they told him not to. He wouldn't do it specifically against them. I mean, just, you know.
If they're dying from bullet wound, it'd be hard to tell them not to.
Exactly.
That's the kicker of the situation.
Yeah. But he's going to do his level best to make sure that can't happen. That's why he's got a gun that shoots a lot of bullets at once, so a lot of things will die.
Yeah.
Feels right. Probably not right, but it's what feels right.
I'll have to look up what ammunition is available in Australia. Because you may have run into an issue when you use that gun where you're not anywhere near Australia. Or you're not near, England.
I mean, Australia is still under the crown.
Yeah, the only thing I don't know is if they're using the British round, the 303 British or not. Of course, Canada also used it because they used Lee Enfields in World War II. I'll have to look to see what they available. Because they didn't use the Sting gun in Australia. They had the Owens submachine gun, which was actually made by some guy in the garage.
And it's almost good rifles, turns out to be. Just some guy made it. Not made by committee.
Yeah. They more than likely do. It's just, I don't know how available it is around in large enough quantities to feed a machine gun, essentially.
We'll see. He also has like 50 spare rounds just on.
Right.
As a stocking stuffer.
Yeah. No, it's just how quickly you're going to go through those rounds and...
yeah. There's a reason I should stay at like 3 on rate of fire because it uses 10 and gets me often the same results.
I mean, if we're going to be getting a boat and supplies, probably also just order like, I don't know, a couple crates of ammo for you. I'm sure Sean could afford that.
Just my ammo.
We just stack those crates up in the back of the plane for our trip to Australia.
Just be on the loading dock when we get there. Like, oh look, my ammo comes on truck.
It does look like they do have. Yeah, because they're using Lee Enfield.
I'm trying to find the natural healing roll. I don't know what
So
that
it would
is.
be because typically after the golden hour, or which is like an hour after you receive the wound, you can't heal it again. You have to wait like a week time to do a natural healing roll, which is essentially a vigor test. If you succeed, you heal a wound, or
okay.
Yeah. So essentially, you get to make that roll free a day, and that includes like while you're in the middle of combat as well. So
Okay.
as far as I know, it's also a free action. I'll double check that though.
Wounded creature makes a vigor roll for every round, even after they've been incapacitated. A successful heal a wound. Wounds caused by some types of damage listed in the creature's description do not regenerate, but heal naturally. And I've got the silver weakness.
Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't be able to, if you got shot or hit by silver, you wouldn't be able to heal that easily.
Yeah, it seems like I'd be at least unless we could argue some sort of narrative fix for it that would heal like a normal person again.
Essentially, you'd be getting hit with that. You would be getting a burning sensation as if you would be shot with a regular bullet, just worse. And you couldn't heal that until you get that bullet out.
Okay.
Functionally, you have to essentially get a regular healing roll on you to get that wound off you.
Yeah, somebody needs to make the roll to pull the bullet out.
Yeah. So let's say you take a hit and you take 2 wounds worth. You wouldn't be able to heal those 2 wounds until those are otherwise healed.
Okay.
Just don't get shot by silver. That's all you got to worry about.
Yeah.
Really, just don't get shot in general, but you just definitely want to get shot by silver.
The bad guys were getting ready to shoot me with silver before.
Stop being so fast in
gonna
combat.
suck.
All of you stop being so fast in combat so Montre can get in the front and get shot instead. That's what he wants. He keeps being last in combat. He's like, okay, everyone run forward.
Just don't. Well, I
All
can't
right.
even blame you drawing the card because it's literally just computer is like, all right, this is what card you get.
Yep, he's last.
Effie wants to be slower in combat.
Yeah, Effie keeps on getting the high cards, even though she wants to be.
I want to be after you guys so that I can help you guys later.
Yeah.
Isn't there an advance for helping you, like draw 2 cards or something?
Level-headed.
Let me draw 2 cards and put the highest one back.
You could do that. There's also a hindrance that makes you take the lowest card.
I might take it.
Yeah, Montre, you could go for that. Draw 2 initiative cards, pick what you want to try to help push yourself up the.
Ruslin had it.
Smart's D8 plus though. That's my only problem is
You're.
See,
Oh.
we need to have
a
an
6
ability
is
so
smart.
that we can trade our cards.
Oh,
Like swap initiative.
That ability coming up.
oh, nice.
It's going to take 3 or 4 more levels advances, but I'll gain the ability to get extra cards off to the sideboard, and then I can give whoever I want those initiative cards.
Oh boy, I'm wondering how that's going
Starts
to
with
work out.
1, and then it's 2.
Is that a faith thing or a
The
leadership? thing?
leadership edges.
Yeah. Not many people go with those because they're.
it's a slow burn for the leadership.
Situational.
Well, I mean, the first thing I'm picking up when we hit the next advancement tier is Spirit Faith, and then I'm going to go ham on leadership and fill it out. I have the
Man,
first
take this
leadership thing, and I need to get the thing that allows me to affect all wild cards as if they were
Oh.
whatever non-wild
Extras.
cards.
It's like you
Yeah.
you got
natural
the next advancement because you should be on your 8th one, I think. People can correct me if I'm wrong because that's the one that you get to
we're on
veteran.
8th. Yeah, we're level 1 in veteran.
Because I think you,
I mean,
I don't even
I
think you took your 7th yet. You have it on here, but I don't think you took anything with it. No, it just looks like it.
I don't think I've missed one. I realize there might not be one on the sheet there, but I don't think I've missed one.
Okay, what did you take for your 8th one then?
Was the leadership edge.
Oh, okay.
Just the opening leadership edge.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I am currently on my 5th advance.
Yeah, Cotton's behind on that.
I got pointed out last session that I was 2 behind.
Yeah. We were in the same boat last session, and I still haven't done it.
Where are you guys going when we're doing?
I have a baby.
She does get occupied with that.
Fair enough.
unfortunately.
Fair enough.